Hello and welcome back. Sean here, Mountains Garage, on a promising Thursday morning, last week of April 2023. Yes, my chair still squeaks. It's in the back of every video. Once again, every video contains some squeaking, an old sock, and a couple mistakes. No extra charge. Yesterday, I spent half the day in the dentist chair, which is almost 4 hours of nitrous, which isn't the end of the world, having some work done, and it took a little longer than expected, but that's okay. I had to do a bunch of stuff in the afternoon, so the point of my story is last night I got busy, I came out and I knocked out the driver's side mount, and it's ready to go back in. And I was pretty much done talking about the motor mounts in the Street 55 Chevy when I realized I left out some details about the process. Both side motor mount bolts were bent, so the motor was actually lower than it should have been. And I decided to do one side at a time. At least the other side mount would kind of hold everything where it belonged. So when I did the passenger side, I put a level up on the carburetor, and I jacked it up about a half a bubble higher than level, and built the mount on that side. What I love about the lift and the stand, and nothing can leak down. The lift is sitting on the locks. The stand is mechanical. It'll sit there till the end of time. I also put a couple blocks of wood under the crank pulley in case my stand failed, or my little U-shaped saddle. When I had my hands in there, I really didn't want to have my hands crushed because the engine fell on them while I'm moving stuff around. But fortunately, I'm doing one side at a time. I slid the jack over, favoring the side I'm working on with the safety wood, and everything worked out fine. And it was really precision. Again, when I have the motor at the right height on the passenger side, I could slip this right in and out, bolt it up solid, no worries. I put it a half a bubble high because when I went to do the driver's side, knowing it was hanging down, I watched, and as I brought it up to level, that's when I had the bolts out of the motor mount, but still had this bolted on the frame. That's when the motor mount became just barely loose. So perfectly level, I was able to get the mount in and out, and I was much faster on the driver's side because I knew exactly what I had to do. So paint's dry, that's ready to go back in. The hardware, I had one grade 5, it's 7/16 by 4-inch bolt with two grade 8, they're not extra thick, but they're thick washers, and a nylock nut. I didn't have two of these 7/16 by 4-inch bolts, so yesterday still whacked out from being on nitrous for 4 hours, but Lowe's Home Improvement right across the street from my dentist pretty much. So I went in and I bought 3 grade 5 bolts, so I'll have 2 for the future. And if I hadn't already put the grade 5 in on the passenger side and tightened up the nylock nut and was happy with it, I probably would have swapped over to grade 8. But in sheer position, grade 5 is fine. Either way, it's fine. So, but I bought 2 of those in the future too, and I didn't think. Usually, I like to support my local hardware store, but these bolts at my hardware store probably would have been $4 or $5 a piece. At Lowe's, these were $1.76, and these were $2.61, I believe. So, not bad. I got 5 bolts for $10, give or take. We have tax here in Maine, you know. So that's handled. I got the bolt for this side. The frame bolts, I buy flange bolts. These are Turbo 400, tail housing, and everything else. Mount bolts, I use them for everything. So these are grade 8 flange bolts. And the nuts I have, I actually bought at a salvage place, but they're serrated, and they really lock in. You don't need a lock wash or anything. These things will actually bite right into the steel when you tighten them up. And to date, none of them have loosened up. So 4 of those into the frame, 1 bolt there, and this motor mount project is done. And I'm happy about that. moving on to something else. Today I got some other work to do, so I don't know if I'll be able to work on the Street 55 anymore, but in the foreground here, after I built one of these last Saturday for my new bench that I totally love, I used it throughout this whole project, I did some shopping and I found these, same dimension as what I use, but I don't have the fancy support that would, save the box tubing from ripping open when your trailer's bouncing on it. Not much of a concern on the bench, but what I like about this little lip is I actually line it up on the side of this bench, because this bench needs a couple more of these. So I bought more. I'm going to put one more on my new bench, one more on this bench to start with. I have 2 trailers I bought last fall. My winch is portable, slides into one of these, so each of the new trailers needs one of these. And actually I just got an enclosed trailer that needs something like this mounted inside it. So I bought 6 of them. I found them for, call it $15. 2-pack was $29 and change. I found some pins. They were $1.76 a piece. So, and the Kurt, which is, a name brand hitch company. And also you can't see, but I bought a pack of 12 D-rings when I built my orange trailer many moons ago. I have so many D-rings hanging off it, I sound like Mr. Haney coming down the road when the trailer hits a bump, because they're all going ding 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 ding, So I hate not having a place to hook or tie something down. So 12 of those, they're raw steel. You weld them on, they're 1/2 inch diameter. You can hook about anything to it. I'm sure they have a rating on them, but if I rip it out of there, the trailer's probably going to fail too. So, all right, time to get busy. Less talk, more work. Well, in case you can see this, I did find this when I was searching under the bench. I still need to build a drive shaft loop, and maybe I'll cut this ugliness off it, and this piece is usable. Maybe make another end to match it. I don't even know where I got that, but there it is, and it might inspire me to use it. So let's get to work. Final install on the driver's side. All the bolts slipped right in with the engine sitting perfectly level. And tighten everything down, which isn't so bad. Through this hole, you can get to 2 of the bolts. And through this hole, you can get to the other 2. So it's not so bad. I believe these headers are Patriot. And I would buy another set because they're really not in the way of anything. They're a big full-length header, but so far they haven't been an issue having clearance for anything. And my bench right underneath. Super handy. Look at that beautiful cardinal over there. I love when the birds return every year. They make me happy. I have a lot of birds in my yard. And this is all that's left of my snow. This pile was probably 15 feet high and as wide as this area just a few weeks ago. See how close we can get to the old cardinal. Pretty. Right now the sun's out and it's starting to rain, but aside from that, the M18 cordless air compressor, you plug it into your tire, it tells you your current pressure. I set it to my desired pressure. Just like that. It bleeds off the extra. And you're done. So I was having fun filling all the trailer tires in the yard when it started raining heavier and the sun went away. So I came inside, thought I'd weld on my stop 'em from flop 'ems and weld these to the benches. I just started welding with the Alpha TIG 203. I had it on pulse, which is kind of fun to play with. You just set the max amps that you want, hold the thing to the floor, and it'll, pulse the pedal for you. Pretty cool. takes a little getting used to, but it definitely is a handicap. It helps out a welder that needs that in their life, I guess. So anyway, I start welding, and out of the blue, well, the gray, this tremendous clap of thunder. It felt like it hit the house, but it rumbled like it was an earthquake almost. It was thunder. Just happened one time. Woo! So now the sun's coming back out. So I'm gonna weld these on, and I'll be back outside playing with trailer tires. But that's probably it for this episode anyway. It's pretty random. Sometimes this is how my days go. When I have a few minutes trying to catch up on other stuff, thinking all the things I could or should be doing. So enjoy your day. I'll talk to you soon.